Houston, we have a problem. Those 5 words changed history in 1970. But what you're about to hear is worse. 4 astronauts. 240,000 miles from home. Fuel gone. Oxygen dropping. No rescue possible. And NASA is completely silent. This hasn't happened yet. But in just weeks from now, Artemis II launches. And nobody is asking the question that keeps NASA engineers awake at night. What if they can't come back? Before we get into the nightmare, you need to understand what Artemis II actually is. It's NASA's most ambitious mission since Apollo 17, back in 1972. 52 years ago, humans last touched the moon. Artemis II is bringing them back. 4 astronauts. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Their mission, fly around the moon. Not land. Just orbit it. A 10-day journey covering 1.4 million miles. Sounds simple, right? That's what they said about Apollo 13 too. Here's something NASA doesn't advertise. There's a moment in every lunar mission called the point of no return. Once Artemis II passes this point, they cannot turn around. Earth's gravity can no longer pull them back. They must continue toward the moon. Now imagine this. They cross that point. And suddenly, the main engine fails. No thrust. No way to change course. They're locked in the moon's gravitational pull. Heading toward a rock with no atmosphere, no rescue team, and oxygen for only 21 days. The clock just started ticking. Let's break down exactly what would happen. Hour by hour. The moment Mission Control confirms engine failure, every engineer, every scientist, every NASA director is staring at one screen. Trying to solve an equation that has no solution. Inside the capsule, the crew knows. They've trained for emergencies. But not this one. Because this emergency has only one ending. They begin rationing immediately. Food cut to 50%. Water recycled. Everything recycled. Oxygen monitored every 30 minutes. And then, the psychological breakdown begins. Imagine watching Earth get smaller. Every single hour. Knowing your family is on that tiny blue dot. And you will never touch it again. By day 7, oxygen levels are critical. The crew is experiencing hypoxia, confusion, headaches, hallucinations. They're orbiting the moon now. Going around and around. Like a satellite that was never meant to stay. NASA is watching every vital sign. Heart rate, blood pressure, brain activity. And there is absolutely nothing they can do. Day 21. Oxygen, gone. 4 names, added to the memorial wall at Johnson Space Center. But wait. What if NASA tried an emergency rescue? Could they actually pull it off? To launch any rescue mission, NASA needs a minimum of 3 months preparation. The crew has 21 days of oxygen. You see the problem. What about SpaceX? Could Elon Musk do something? Even Starship, the fastest rocket ever built, needs 6 to 8 weeks for emergency prep. What about the ISS crew? The International Space Station orbits Earth. Not the moon. 240,000 miles away. They cannot help. The brutal truth. Once stranded at the moon, you are already gone. Now here's what makes this even more terrifying. This almost happened before. Apollo 13. April 1970. An oxygen tank exploded 200,000 miles from Earth. 3 astronauts. Crippled spacecraft. No guarantee of survival. NASA had one advantage that time. They were close enough. Fast enough. Lucky enough. Artemis II will be farther, faster, and the moon's gravity, far less forgiving. Apollo 13 was called NASA's greatest success, because they brought everyone home. But the engineers who worked that mission, they'll tell you something privately. It should not have worked. They got lucky. So what is NASA actually doing to prevent this? Artemis II has triple redundant engine systems, meaning 3 separate backup engines. The capsule, Orion, is the most tested spacecraft in human history. Over 110,000 hours of simulation. And the crew, trained for 4 years specifically for this mission. NASA's official position: they are ready for every scenario. Every scenario, except the ones they haven't thought of yet. Because space doesn't care about preparation. Space doesn't care about backup systems. Space is the most unforgiving place in the universe. Here's the question nobody wants to answer. If Artemis II gets stranded, would NASA tell us? In 1970, the whole world watched Apollo 13 live. Billions of people praying, hoping, waiting. But today, in 2026, with social media, with live streams, with satellites tracking every signal, the entire world would watch, in real time. 4 humans. Slowly. Running out of air. And there would be nothing, absolutely nothing, anyone could do. Artemis II launches in just weeks. For brave humans strapping themselves to 5 million pounds of rocket fuel. Voluntarily. Knowing the risks. Knowing that space has never once promised anyone a safe return. And yet they go. Because exploration is what humans do. Because every single thing you take for granted today, GPS, weather satellites, the internet itself, exists because someone, somewhere, decided that the risk was worth it. Artemis II isn't just a mission. It's a reminder that the most extraordinary thing about humans is that we keep going anyway. If this video made you think about something you never considered before, you know what to do. The next video is already waiting for you. And trust me, it's even more terrifying than this one.